Okay, what I'm going to do today is show my brother-in-law Walt how to make my buttermilk biscuits. Now Walt, what I start with is a cup and a half of flour, and you know that. A cup and a half of self-rising flour. Now I like to add salt because I think it adds to the flavor of the biscuit. So I put in good salt, all right? My wife doesn't like too much salt, but I do. Next is Crisco, and this is one of the problems that Walt's been having, is how much Crisco to put in. Now what I make, that's the right amount of Crisco, Walt. Just like a rounded tablespoon, okay? I don't think you can add a little too much or a little too less, so don't worry about that. I think your problem's not coming from this. So we put the Crisco in, cup and a half of flour. Then we take a cutter, all right? And Walt, now watch, I want to show you how I cut this in. Now, I just keep rotating the thing around until I cut it in until it looks like little tiny balls in the bottom of the thing. So it only takes about a minute, minute and a half to do this. And you got to keep the Crisco off of this, and you cut the Crisco in good. There's only a couple of steps here and then we'll be finished, but these are important ones. Okay? So we cut the flour in good till it looks like there's little bitty, I hate to say it, but little bitty balls in the bottom of the bowl. And I like to use a stainless steel bowl, that's just me. Alright? Now, there it is, that's all cut in, and if you look at it, you see little bitty balls in there. That looks good. Okay? You can't really cut in too much, so that's not an important thing. I think this is where it gets important right here now, Walt. We're going to add 1 cup of buttermilk, and I put in almost a cup because I want mine a little drier than wet. So that's right, we pour that in. Now, this is one of the things I want to make sure you do right, is you stir it, and you only stir it until it's mixed. And see, I want to show this to you.
Turn the bowl up.
There, that's about perfect right there. It's falling off the sides. Huh?
There you go.
It's falling off the sides, and it's just right. If it's too wet, they flatten out. If it's too dry, they're too cakey. I think this is perfect. Now, here's the next part, Walt, that you do different than me. I put a little bit of flour in a bowl, then I take out my first biscuit and I just push it in that flour. Roll it around in flour just enough to get it coated, and here's where you roll it, Walt, and you don't want to over roll. Look at that. That rolled just that quick into a perfect biscuit. See it? Now it's puffy, and I lay it on a pan that I greased heavily with butter because I like the bottom of the biscuit to be nice and crisp and buttery flavored. So that's how I do mine. Now this recipe calls for makes about 5 biscuits, but they're fairly good sized biscuits. This is my second one. Roll it in the flour just for a second, and then watch how I roll it by hand. See this? And you roll it around until you get the wrinkles out, and it shouldn't take very long. And if you got a wrinkle in it, leave the wrinkle in more than overdoing it so it's hard, okay? That's where I think you've been getting your hard biscuits, Walt. Here's the third one. Drop it in there off the pan, off the spoon, I'm sorry. Put it in flour, roll it. And see, it only takes a second to roll it. You gotta cup your hand when you roll it around, and voila, you get a great looking, see? Perfect biscuits. Well, I made mine, these are kind of big. I'm only gonna get like 4.5 biscuits out of this because I made big biscuits today. Here's the fourth one. Rolled out really nicely. Lay it in the pan. Now we got one more. This is going to be a smaller one. Susan likes small biscuits anyway. I think this is the rest of it. Dropped in there. Roll it in flour just for a second. Again, roll it in your hand. Nice little biscuit, and pow. Now, what I do is I put some flour on my knuckle like this, and I just knuckle a little indentation in each biscuit. Now, That's everything you need to know, Walt. If you picked up on those tips, you can make good biscuits. What I do now, after I wash my hand real quick, and I preheated the oven to 420 degrees. I got 4.5 biscuits. Sometimes you get 5, sometimes 6, depending on how big you want your biscuit to be. I like a bigger biscuit.
Mikey, can you show the pan of biscuits?
I'm going to. Here's what the pan looks like. See, the biscuits are nice and fluffy. They got a little bit of wrinkle in them, but that'll be fine. They're going to taste great. Now, what I'm doing now is I take some butter and I put in each biscuit. I'm a little heavy on the butter because I like my biscuit to be buttery flavored. See? That's the biscuits. That's how easy it is. The key is don't overmix it first. Don't roll them so that they're too hard. I think that's why they're getting hard. All right? If you take those tips, I think you'll make great biscuits. As soon as the oven preheats up, 420, 22 minutes to 23, depending, just watch until they're golden brown. That's it. Enjoy.